Have you ever met someone and thought their job sounded cool? Or perhaps you're wondering how you can get to a position that doesn't seem to match any of the qualifications you have at the moment? Well, if so, this podcast is for you.
We found some people with jobs that you might not necessarily know about or expect people to have, and we're going to ask them about how they got there.
Welcome to What Do They Do? A podcast about jobs and how people got them. So I think the reason I wanted to make this podcast is that there have been numerous times in my life, and recently as well, where I've chatted to someone maybe at an event, or I've seen someone online that I haven't met and don't know anything about. But I think, oh, their job sounds really cool, or the company they work for seems to be tackling like a really interesting problem that I would want to help solve as well. And I've not been able to dive deeper because there hasn't been time, or it's not the right forum to do it.
You see, nosiness definitely comes into my interest in this too, but I feel it's from a slightly different angle. So rather than like looking at people's jobs and fun and interesting, it's more about, when you people watch, so just see people walking on the street or various things like that. I find myself asking that question: what do they do?
And she talks about how radical candor is important. And so actually it plays in a little bit to the other day, you're talking about my perfectionism and me not thinking.
Yeah, I talked about it and you were like, what, me?
Exactly. And I haven't really accepted that before that point, but that was radical candor. Like, oh, Dean, we're never going to get anywhere with this because you're a perfectionist. And it's important that you said that, because otherwise we might have never got to a point where we release a podcast.
And the beauty of you saying this right now is that what people obviously cannot see is that you have a pillow in front of you to make sure that the sound is as good as it can be. So yeah, you carry on talking about why you're not a perfectionist, and I'll keep on watching you with your pillow. One of the reasons we probably want to find out what people do is that nowadays that is more varied and it's not one thing. So if you ask someone, if you want to find out what they do, the answer might be several things.
That's interesting, isn't it? Because you might find people that do one thing for money because that allows them to do the thing that they really want to do, which doesn't give them a revenue stream. And who do you think this podcast is for?
This podcast is for anyone that's looked around and wondered what people are doing and how they got there. Join us every 2 weeks when we release interviews with a variety of people and find out what it is that they do, the paid stuff, the interest, and what inspired them to make those choices along the way.
Perfect.
Okay.
Sorry, I just need to finish the slice of pizza.
Go for it.
I'm starving, sorry. Have you already eaten?
Yeah, I'll eat at like 5 p.m. Just cover this one day.